From the art desk of the legendary Mr. Tagro himself, and just in time for the summertime festivities and beach time party time, it is SWS00 Leafy Tan, with a kit of anti-jammer, mud shot, anti-sea, sea legs, and the leg ability of adapter, which changes all terrains not already at A or S rank into A rank. Now, when I first took a look at Leafy Tan's design, being completely honest, I thought I'd seen it all. Medarot has most certainly had a wonderful slew of designs and approaches to different designs as well, or even multiple approaches to the same design with beetles or bugs countless times over its many years. But certainly I was not prepared for not just a seahorse type, but a gyaru galgirl type of seahorse theme on top of that as a secondary motif. With a very cute design and a very synergetic kit, it's going to be very obvious that Leafy Tan will probably be a very well-loved fan favorite going forward. Anti-Jammer on the head part is a support-based skill that, once activated, will negate the bonus damage and modifiers presented by Anti-Air and Anti-Sea for 2 charges once activated. So this means that you can safely use sea or flight-based legs very reliably and not have to eat the anti-air or anti-sea punish that is currently slewing current competitive meta, or at least anti-air and tornado spam anyway. This is a very good way to guarantee life insurance and coverage so that even if you still take the damage of the regular blow, you're not going to be nuked into next week just because you used the wrong leg type and they caught you on it. Mud shot on the right arm, and the first ever instance of this on a female, and the second ever instance of this skill pretty much ever in the game. First of which being the 9-headed serpent type Yatsukubi Daija, but this is the first ever instance, as I said, on females. To explain Mud Shot briefly, upon attacking the target with this attack, it actually changes the opponent's leg type to C. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of Tornado simply sweeping the enemy in the air and injecting a weakness, Mud Shot actually debuffs the enemy and applies them to sea-based terrain. Which means, get this, as you see on the left arm, you can now subject them to the powerful punishment of Anti-Sea punishment. And would you look at that, Anti-Sea is on the left arm as a long-range shooting attack. It is a conventional skill that doesn't deal a whole lot of damage on its own, as you see there, but if it does attack someone that is using a sea-based leg, or by sheer happenstance is changed to a sea-based leg, they're going to be eating a ×7 to ×8 punishment damage bonus, which more or less guarantees that upon attacking, they're going to be dead in the water. There is going to be no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and the only way to guarantee and cover for that is just don't use sea legs at all. But with Mud Shot in her disposal, that's going to be very difficult to keep. Sea legs means that compared to most other leg types, she's probably not going to be as fast or as agile on the field, but still have a very high emphasis on high evade, which, as you see here, with an evade at over 2,000, she's already off to a very good start, and this does mean that she's going to have a pretty easy time dodging or grazing a lot of incoming blows that are coming her way. But with a resist stat of a melee resist of 593, almost 600, and a shoot resist of 830, she's definitely trading in a lot of that agility for armor. So she is going to be taking a pretty significantly higher amount of incoming hits while she is on the field. So having a defender or somebody that can keep her protected and healed up will probably be best advised if you do plan to use Leafy Tan. But she does also comp it with a heavy support of 2 and a base mobility at 872. So while she is going to be very, very dodgy and speedy, she's also going to be fast, which is actually kind of rare for most sea legs, as they typically tend to sit between 5, maybe 700 at best depending on the leg, and maybe a rare 8 if it's a really good one, i.e. Ibisu Shichibuku from the 7 Lucky Gods. So Leafy Tan is most certainly going to be a cut above the rest when it comes just to the speed factor alone. In the armor department, she's actually quite healthy as well, to my shock. She's actually packing about 3,600 HP for the head, about 3,960, almost 4,000 HP per arm, and legs at about 4,019, so she's going to be pretty moderately healthy in the HP department, despite having some very light armor. but given that she is basically a party goer and a beach goer, I guess that could be also par for the course to fit with the theme. All this being said though, as a pure set score, I honestly have to rate Leafy Tan a very well-rounded 8 out of 10. Compared to most other models where they typically tend to have maybe like 1 or 2 really good parts, or maybe 1 or 2 that synergize with each other really well but then comps for some kind of weakness of their own, Leafy Tan actually covers for a lot of her weaknesses by herself, fresh from the box. She does not require a lot of outside assistance, and she can basically fight on her own without anything really changing her support or changing her performance, whether there's someone on the field or not. Anti-Jammer basically covers her own weakness of Anti-C against anyone that tries to counter her with that, for 2 hits no less, so she only has to apply it once, and she's got pretty solid coverage for the next couple blows, even if she does need to reapply it. Mud Shot basically is for converting anyone into sea-based terrain to absolutely kill terrain compatibility and advantage, and Anti-C of course for compounding on that for torpedoing anyone that is sea leg or converted into sea leg right out of the water, and pretty much guaranteed no one's allowed in anything liquid except her. One thing to mention though with Mudshot is that because it is considered a status ailment, if anyone is using Stat Cleanse or any kind of leg ability that includes it, or Precognition or something similar, that might be cause for concern, and that might hurt a little bit of Leafy Tan's overall viability. But Sea Legs with Adapter, we're no stranger to it. We've seen it before. Hemadakar from Metarot 5 is a perfect example as a Fierce Battle version. But with the stats that she's bringing to the table with 2 heavy support, very, very good evade and mobility, even with the armor being light, it's going to be a very solid leg that you can use basically anywhere. And as a kit by herself, like I said, Leafy Tan covers for on her own exceptionally well. I'm honestly impressed how well she can cover for herself. As mixed parts, I do have to rate her equally at an 8 out of 10 as well for these same reasons. Now, while you can use Mudshot and Anti-C basically in the same kit anywhere or spread them out across other parts, much like you would with Tornado and Anti-Air Spam, Anti-Jammer, we've had it a couple times in recent thus far, Alba Noel being another example of this as one possibility, or as another example, say Grid Burn Knight from the Gridman universe and so on. We've seen it before, so it's not anything new, but it's still a very solid coverage skill with a lot of sea and air-based models that are coming out in recent. And with the leg ability of Adapter, you could honestly use any one of her 4 parts in any kind of combination across your team, and you, being completely blunt with you, would honestly never go wrong. You can use Mudshot Anti-C on the same bot or on separate ones for your competitive teams, Anti-Jammer for coverage on anyone that is using sea or air-based legs at all, not even just for Leafy Tan, and Sea Legs with Adapter. I really have nothing more to say. It's an already fair leg type on its own, but with removing the terrain compatibility, that removes a lot of the problems that brings to sea-based legs to the table.